What's up everyone? Welcome back to the Benta STEAM Academy. Today we're gonna wrap up with our final Tinkercad tutorial video. So without further ado, let's do. All right, let's get back to our Let's Learn Tinkercad page. We are on our last tutorial, so we're gonna go to number 5, use the align tools and the WOKPLANE helper. This is probably our most challenging part of this tutorial, so if you don't get it the first time, don't worry. You can always pause the video, rewind it back, do what you gotta do. But let's go ahead and select next. So now that you know how to group, combine, and duplicate objects, it's time to put things together. In this lesson, we're gonna build a simple castle. You will learn all about the align tool, mirroring, and helper tools. Click next. Let's get started. The first tool you will be using is the align tool. Instead of having to carefully position two pieces using the mouse, the align tool can line them up for you. When you have two or more objects selected, click the align tool in the adjust menu. You will see 3 handles appear on axes. Clicking the middle handle will center the objects along that axis. Notice when you mouse over the handle, Tinkercad will display a hint of the potential result, making choosing the right align handle easy. To start, let's drag a cylinder and a cone to the WOKPLANE. Make the cylinder 30 millimeters tall and raise the cone 30 millimeters off the WOKPLANE. Then select both objects and use the align tool from the adjust menu. Click the center handle on the X and Y axes. Then continue to the next step. Aligning to an object. In the last step, both objects align to the space between them. What if you don't want one of the objects to move? When you try align mode, this time move your mouse over one of the objects. You will see some gray handles appear. These handles are what you would see if you were aligning one object to another. This means the object you select will stay in place, and the other objects will move. Let's try it. Drag out a box and make it 20 millimeters tall, 60 millimeters long, and 4 millimeters thick. Drag the end of the wall to be in line with the center of the tower. Then select both the tower and the wall. Go to the adjust menu and click the align tool. Click on the tower and continue to the next step. Besides the center handle we've used, there are 2 limit handles for each axis. These limit handles allow you to align 2 objects so that they share the same edge. Let's align the wall so that the wall extends in a straight line from the circumference of our cylinder. Click on the limit handle on the end of the closest parallel line to the wall. Now the circle of the tower and the face of the wall blend into each other. This neat feature is called a tangent relationship. We'll explain this later in the next step. Click on the limit handle on the end of the closest parallel line to the wall. Then click next. A tangent on tangents. There are many ways to describe how objects fit together, and these methods are often referred to as relationships. One very useful relationship is the tangent relationship. In geometry, a tangent is a straight line or plane that touches the circle at exactly one point, such that if you extend the line, it does not cross the circle. When you have objects doing the same, it is called a tangential relationship. Having language to describe such relationships help you think and talk about your design. Continue to the next step. Copying and pasting. What if you want to make more than one copy of an object? Instead of using the duplicate tool, we will use the copy and paste tools. Copy and paste remembers the item you've copied, so you can paste the object any number of times and in any number of places. Pasting will make an identical copy of the original, and it will offset the copy just slightly. This allows the object to be easier to grab. To start, let's select the cone and the cylinder. From the menu bar, click Edit and Copy. From the menu bar, click Edit and Paste. Then make sure you align it with the hint. Click Next when you're done. Now select the copied tower and roof and drag them so the copy is centered on the end of the wall. You'll notice we're not using the Align tool for this operation. The Align tool is powerful, but it does not have a mode for aligning the center of an object to the end of another. Move the tower so its center aligns with the end of the wall. Then, with the roof and tower still selected, also select the wall. Align the tower and roof to the wall so that the tower and the wall create a nice tangent. Then click Next. Now we want to make our towers taller. Making the front of the castle visibly different from the back of the castle may make it more exciting. So let's make the towers in the back taller than the towers in the front. Raise the cone up to 40 millimeters and make the cylinder 40 millimeters tall. Continue to the next step. Now we're going to copy the wall and align it to the tower. We've already made one wall. We can just copy and paste the next and rotate it 90 degrees about the Z-axis. If you need help remembering how to rotate about the Z-axis, remember our 3D modeler's salute. Now, align the tower to the wall in a similar fashion to how we aligned the wall to the first tower. To do this, we're going to copy and paste the wall, rotate it about the Z-axis by 90 degrees. Then we'll want to line up the end of the wall to the center of the tower. Use your Align tool to make the wall tangent to the cylinder. Then click Next. Now we're going to copy this wall again and do the same to the other side. This will be our front. To do this, let's copy and paste the wall. Line up the end of the wall to the center of the tower. Then use the Align tool to make the wall tangent to the cylinder. When you're done, click Next. Grouping items for easy alignment. When you align multiple objects, Tinkercad will align them all independently, so you may not end up with all your parts stacked together. Probably not what you want. We can avoid this by temporarily grouping the objects before we align them. This will make them behave like one object. Once we are done aligning the object, we can ungroup the object. To do this, let's group the towers and the original wall. Then, copy and paste the group. And click Next when you're done. Mirroring an object, our new group will go on the other side of the castle. But notice, the wall is on the wrong side. Tinkercad has a mirror tool that can reverse any object along any axis. You can flip them forward and backward, right to left, or upside down. When you are using the mirror tool, you'll see one double arrow handle per axis. Hovering your mouse cursor over the handles will give you a hint of the result, so you can see which handle works best for you. First, move the grouped object to the opposite side. Then, go to the menu bar, the Adjust menu, and then select Mirror. Use the handle that is perpendicular with the wall to mirror across that axis. Then continue the next step. Aligning a grouped object. Now that the wall is mirrored, all we have to do is align it to one of the walls. We'll do this by aligning the grouped object to one of the walls. Then continue to the next step. The power of delete. You don't know if you like castles with pointy towers. Wouldn't it make more sense to have towers we could put archers on for defense? We should replace the pointy towers with some battlements from which the archers can rain down arrows. It's not too late to change our minds. Let's select the towers, ungroup the towers, then click Next. Now, select the cones and delete them. Go to the menu bar, drop down the Edit menu, and click Delete. Poof, they're gone. To do this, you'll select the cones, select Delete from the Edit menu, or press the Delete key, then click Next. Using the WOKPLANE helper. Now, you can imagine all the steps required to make and move the battlements for your towers. The WOKPLANE helper should speed things up. With it, bam, you can build right on top of something, skipping any tedious measurements and moves. Let's do this by clicking on the Helper menu, drag the WOKPLANE helper on top of one of the short cylinders, then click Next. Building our battlements on the new WOKPLANE. Now when you drag items onto the WOKPLANE, they will appear at the level of the top of your tower. Let's build out the perimeter of our battlements. We're going to want to drag out a polygon and stretch it until it's 26 millimeters from point to point. Then shrink it until it's 5 millimeters tall. Drag out a cylinder and change it to a hole in the inspector. Then resize it to 16 millimeters in diameter while holding Shift and Alt. Align the cylinder to the hex, and then group them together. Then align the battlements to the first tower and continue on the next step. Pasting onto a new WOKPLANE. Now, copy and paste the battlements and align them to the next tower. When you have the WOKPLANE helper out, you will paste to the new WOKPLANE, putting the battlements at the right height automatically. To do this, let's copy and paste the battlements and align them to the next tower. Move the WOKPLANE to the top of the taller towers. Then paste the new battlements and align them to the remaining 2 towers. When you're done, click Next. For our next trick, we're going to drag the WOKPLANE helper to the front of the castle. Yes, the wall. Yes, up and down. When you drag shapes to the WOKPLANE, they will appear and move on the surface of the wall of your castle. Now you can personalize it. Give your castle a name, place some windows, and arrow slits along the walls for more archers. Do this for the other walls. Go crazy. You can return to the original WOKPLANE by dragging the WOKPLANE helper to the empty space. Let's do this by dragging the WOKPLANE helper to the front of the castle. Try working in this new work plane. Now move the work plane to a new surface and let's experiment there. Now let's drag the work plane helper to empty space to restore it to the original place. Then click Next. Whew, we made it. That was a fun project. Now let's go ahead and get our designs to our instructors so that they can print it for us. Go ahead and select Done. And that's a wrap. Thank you again for joining me at the Benta STEAM Academy for our 5th and final video of our Tinkercad tutorial series. Join us next time, and until then, keep creating!